I just don't want to be talking about Peter Obi anymore. But I will say it because it's part of the issues that I raised. My position in 2022, 2023 is what is unfolding now. That contrary to the belief or the impression created that Peter Obi was opposed to the system, was capable of opposing the system, that he's incapable of doing it. I also stated in 2022, 2023 that the Labour Party was a short renter, what they call Airbnb in America. You move in, you check out when your time expires. And that when they are done with Peter Obi, they will move the renter to another place. So Peter Obi, maybe rightly or wrongly, or maybe he's doing it for sure, then decided that he doesn't want to move out of the short renter. And now he got locked in practically out. The reason why it probably got more attention was this. There was this whole debate around the Muslim ticket. So the Christians said, okay, you want to Islamize Nigeria, we want to Christianize too. And who was the best person available to them? Peter Obi. That's what happened. But in terms of opposition, I don't know why anybody calls Peter Obi opposition. It's not, Peter Obi is not opposed to anything that the government is doing. Peter Obi did not even organize his supporters to fight for his own election victory, he claimed. He did not fight when they increased fuel price. He has never done anything that opposition people do. Even these terrible people that are in government now, no matter what you say of them, they used to protest. Buhari protested with his deputy, and they tear gassed the man and he died after that. Tinubu, they organized several protests.
Exactly, all the way
they
from...
They were using Amechi them, people have forgotten. Nasiru used to go to DSS, they would arrest him, they would release him again, he would talk. So you say you are opposition. Do what opposition do now, you can't do. And the only thing you can say is that, oh, there was no need for a protest in 2012. Where are the people? Are they dead? If the people in 2012 are dead or have sold out, what happens to you with 6 million voters? Put them on the street. Even if you can't put 6 million people on the street, put 60,000 people on the street in this Abuja and see how the government would take you serious.
Interesting.
But you are the one, you and your supporters are the ones who are pouring cold water on even any protests. Because you don't want the country to change. You want it to be replaced. You want the Tinubu group to either be replaced by your own group or for Tinubu to assimilate some of, because look at all the Labour Party people in the National Assembly. They are not decamping back to where they are coming from. They are decamping to APC.
So shameful.
And this is the point we're making, that these guys were not real. In 2023, they were not real. In 2027, they're not real. And I'll say one last thing about them. I think the Tinubu regime enjoys their type of opposition. So you see that any time they seem to be phasing out, they'll throw red meat at them because they know that this is the kind of opposition that doesn't pose any threat. These guys are never going to get upset to the point that they will turn Nigeria to Mozambique, where somebody stole the election and the person who gave the election and the one who stole have not rested. You know, so even countries like Uganda, you know, Bobby Wine now, they are giving hell to the people, the dictators.
So what's Omoyele Sowore's problem with Peter Obi? What is Sowore's issue with Peter Obi? Is it jealousy? Or is it that he's canvassing to get Peter Obi's voters to come vote for him as well, to switch sides? You know, whether or not you agree with him, is Peter Obi truly an opposition to the APC? Or was it the fact that in 2023, Christians, a lot of Christians, you know, who were opposed to the Muslim ticket, just as Sowore put it, thought they would go with Peter Obi as an alternative? Or was it about policies? Or was it about corruption? Nigerians looked at Peter Obi's policies and said, well, you're more transparent than the other politicians. We might like Sowore, but we prefer that you have more coverage than Sowore, so Nigerians went for Peter Obi? Or it's just that Sowore is jealous? So what do you make of Sowore's analysis of the Labour Party, that it's a short-time rental political party? They rent the party to whoever they need to get some money and they move on to and wait for the next election. Is that what you think this is all about? Because as it stands right now, we want to argue about some of the things and argue for and against some of the things that Sowore mentioned here. But the real question is, what is the real underbelly issue that of the things that Sowore has against Peter Obi? Because he says he's incapable of. He says Peter Obi is incapable of being in opposition to this political party APC. So what do you make of it? Before we get right into the matter, if you're meeting this content for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. And if you've been following us and you've not subscribed, please do so. And also, make sure you watch this to the end and share this content with others as well. So, first of all, what is Peter Obi opposed to? What is Peter Obi's stance about corruption, protest, governance, policies? Because for you to be opposed to another person, you have to be opposed based on the policies, things like corruption. You know, if you put your policy side by side with my policy, we compare it and think which one is better. So on that ground, the question is, what is Peter Obi opposed to based on what Sowore is saying? Because at the time when Tinubu was in opposition, they did a lot of protests. So how come that right now, since Peter Obi became the de facto flag bearer of opposition, Nigerians have not had anything like an opposition coming from him, like to go on the ground, protest, and talk about issues, and gravitate and pressurize the government to do the right things by the people? The other question is, in 2023, when the election was known to be widely rigged, should Peter Obi have said, Nigerians, let's get into the street, we need to get the mandate back in the vote, because that's what is not used mandate in Nigeria anyway, mandate, even when it is stolen. So would it have been wise for Peter Obi to say, let's get into the street, let's protest, let's make sure that the judiciary did the right thing by Nigeria, but Peter Obi never did that? Because what Omoyele Sowore is saying here somewhat sounds similar to the things that Kenneth Okonkwo said at the time when he was decamping and when he talked about not supporting Peter Obi anymore. He said that he needed to do more, but Peter Obi did not do anything that was like a real protest, like a real opposition. Because if you take the likes of Julius Malema of South Africa, you can see the real opposition. Obviously, he's in the parliament, but you can see the real opposition that stands against the government, the vehement fight against the government. But what we have with the Labour Party is infighting, obviously, like everyone more or less suggested, orchestrated by outside forces, which is why Sowore says it's for short-term let. You rent it for a period and you get your money back, and then you send the people away. You get to wait for the next one or for the next election. So, because if you look at the lawmakers that Labour Party has, nearly all of them, they're all defecting. If they've not defected yet, the one that we're waiting to be fully defected is like another Emas one. At some point, he will pack his bag and he will leave. So, I'm asking all of you Nigerians, do you actually now feel, or do you think that Sowore is a better candidate to Peter Obi? You know, a question initially at the top of the program was, what is Showore's problem with Peter Obi? Is it jealousy, or is it just fighting to get Peter Obi's voters to come vote for him? You know, because when fuel prices were increased, Nigerians didn't protest. Peter Obi was supposed to be the de facto flag bearer for opposition, did not, according to Sowore. Did he protest when fuel was increased? No. So the question is, as an opposition, what do you really do as an opposition? What do you do as an opposition? If you look at Uganda, for example, you take Bobby Wine, that young, vibrant politician, but he used to be a musician as well. You can see how much of an opposition he is to the current government, even during the election when they threw a lot at him as well. But he still fought back. So I know you can say Nigeria and Uganda are two different countries. Nigeria is too big, too complex. Yes, you're right. But the question is, as an opposition, you do exactly the same thing. If you're in a position in the United Kingdom, you do exactly the same thing. If you're in a position in the United States, you do exactly the same thing. If you're in a position in South Africa, you do exactly, no matter where you are. So the opposition that we currently have, knowing the fact that PDP is a dead party, the biggest voice we have at the moment in terms of opposition should be Peter Obi, considering the fact that he came third in the last election. But the question is it really doing enough to galvanize Nigerians? Or is it just about speeches? Have we gotten to the point where Peter Obi needs to take bold steps? I mean, his life preservation is better anyway because only the living speaks. But have we gotten to the point where we need to make sure that he speaks even louder? Is protest the way to go? Remember, even Patu told me he's organizing the protest come December. A 7.5 million march is saying and all that, and this conversation about another government, a shadow government, like he calls it. So the question is, should Peter Obi now start to do more protestation, galvanizing Nigerians to make sure Nigerians are well aware? These sort of voter education and sensitization we're doing through this channel, is this something that Peter Obi should be doing more rather than the many conversations and, I know the press appearance is great, but at the end of the day, election comes to the local area. It comes down to the villages. It comes down to the polling unit. So should Nigerians be pushing out? Because you need to spearhead it if you're the opposition. When fuel prices were increased, was there something that he could have done? When tariffs were increased, tariffs for data, mobile phones, and stuff like that, they've been increased. There's no opposition. It was just condemnation. So the question we're asking is this: what do you think? What do you make of what Omoyele Sowore said? Is Peter Obi truly, truly an opposition in Nigeria? Or is he capable of becoming one opposition um, until 2027? Or is this just a case of us just taking power for him, voting to remove Bola Tinubu, and now giving the power to Peter Obi, and it brings in those old guards, the same people who have destroyed Nigeria? Remember, he's friends with Babangida. It was there for his, I think it was there for his book launch. He's gone to see him before. It's gone to see all those guys who obviously ruin Nigeria, which are the things that Sowore said they will never do. But the cruel question is always, in politics, you have to meet all these people. You have to talk to all these people. But in case he does that, how is he meant to prosecute crimes? Past crimes, current crimes? How is he meant to do that? Because if you have to go and, bow your knees to those people to support you, you cannot prosecute them. So it might not be anything different from the Bola Tinubu admission. It might just be better. But the question is, what do you make of Sowore's assertion here? What is really wrong with Sowore? Is it about politics? Is it about opposition? Is it about jealousy? Is it about the fact that he just thinks that Peter Obi is corrupt like that because he's called Peter Obi a better packaged corrupt politician than the others because he's part of the old guards as well? But don't forget, Sowore used to be friends with Nuhu Ribadu. Okay, so I'm not sure if he's still friends with Nuhu Ribadu, but does that still make him part of the old guards to himself, Sowore, I'm asking? So let's have this conversation in the comment section. All right, so let us know what you think. Is it just that he's outrightly jealous? In terms of policies, if you compare Sowore's policies to Peter Obi's policies in 2023, what's the difference? It was never going to remove subsidy Sowore because he advocated for that. Peter Obi advocated for subsidy remover, floating of the currency just like Bola Tinubu did. So would you say Sowore was right and Peter Obi was wrong? That if we had voted if Peter Obi had won, we would have been in the same mess right now because he was going to remove subsidy. He was also going to float the naira. But the question was when and how are you going to do that? So let's get right into the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think. And then let's have this conversation intelligently in the comment section. Do you agree with Sowore, or do you think that he's just making that up because he's just jealous? Again, I asked the question as I did at the top of the video. What is Shore's problem with Peter Obi? Is it jealousy or just outright politics? Again, if you're meeting this content for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. And if you've been following us and you've not yet subscribed, please do so. As always, God bless you. I will catch you up in the next video. Bye-bye for now.